Right, this is video number 2 of the Frighteningly Average Film Reviews. It's been over a month and a half, I think now. Just been so busy just now and full of sicknesses and illnesses. So I'm still sick now. Got a lime sip and everything here. Yeah, we watched the film I'm going to review now. We watched it about a week ago, just before Christmas actually. This is recording this on the 4th, is it the 4th today? The 4th of January 2015.
It's the 3rd.
Is it only the 3rd? I thought
Yeah.
it was the 4th. Well, it's the 3rd today. And we watched the film before Christmas. So, I'll get on a little bit about it in just a second. Yeah, there's the film I'm about to review. It's I actually got about the last film I done, Bubble Hotep, was kind of a little bit esoteric, wasn't it? It was a film that not many people knew about and that. But that was almost the point of doing that film, is just to let people know about it, just to kind of bring it to people's attention, that a film that they might have otherwise not heard of or not thought about watching before, can maybe think about watching it, can maybe have brought an idea to their head and thinking this might actually be a good film, which Bubble Hotep is a great film, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about this next film. This is a much more popular film. It's still a cult classic in many ways. It's an 80s horror cult classic. It's one of 2 vampire films made in my birth year, 1987. The other one is Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark. I'll probably talk about that some other time. The one I'm doing now is Joel Schumacher's classic Lost Boys. Anybody that was born in between the 70s and the 90s, early 90s, will no doubt seen it. It's, like I say, it's a classic in many respects. I was on a roll there. Yeah, it stars Kiefer Sutherland as David, a vampire, a group of biker vampires. The title, The Lost Boys, refers to J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan, which is the name for the group of children that lived in Neverland, who never grew up, not unlike a vampire. So you've got Jason Patrick's Michael, the character Michael. How do I remember the name Michael? Maybe because he says it about 190 times in the film. Him and his little brother moved to a town in California called Santa Carla, and with their divorced mum, and they go to live with their granddad, and things kind of literally go to hell when they realise that the town is a little bit strange. There's they say it's the death capital of the world, the murder capital of the world. This is the murder capital of the world.
Death capital.
Death, murder, what's the difference?
Yeah.
A lot of things I'd like to say about this film. I'll probably go through them all. One thing, there's quite a few references to the Doors. It opens after the theme song, the Cry Little Sister, which is the perfect opening for the song. You see it at night. If you've never seen the song, it opens at night. The camera drifts over the sea at night, and it plays to this haunting song, Cry Little Sister. I don't know whether that was written for the film or if it's just, a song in general. Either way, it sets the mood perfectly for this film. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, as I was getting on, right after that, it shows you scenes of this town, Santa Carla, and it's played to a cover version of the Doors, People Are Strange. I think it's covered by Echo and the Bunnymen in this film. I might be wrong, but it's a Doors song. And there's quite a few Doors references. You find out when you go into the Lost Boys, the vampires' hideout, which is underground, and a place that was almost obliterated back in I think it's in the 20s, they said, in their underground lair. There's a big picture of Jim Morrison, and yeah, the music in this film is excellent. I really like it. It's very 80s. It's especially the part where they're at the concert with the sweaty naked saxophone playing man. It's a good song they're playing, but why is the guy not got a shirt on? Why is he dripping with sweat? It's kind of homoerotic. It's just it's not really what I'd like to say, but yeah, the music in it's excellent. Especially one of my favourite scenes in this film is when Michael, the main character, first meets the vampires, first meets David and Star, who later becomes his girlfriend. I'll get on to Star in a minute. And he goes on a bike ride. I say a bike ride, he's just got to follow them. And they drive down the boardwalk, set at this big boardwalk, a big carnival area, the whole film. And they're driving at night through this boardwalk, down the sandy beaches, and this song is playing, this Lost in the Shadows it's called, by Lou Graham. That's Graham, not like Graham, not like how the Americans pronounce Graham, not the way Americans pronounce Graham.
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers, exactly, yeah. We say Graham. Gramm. And he was the lead singer for Foreigner, the rock group from the 70s and 80s. And he played, there's this amazing song, Lost in the Shadows. As you almost feel the wind as they're zooming down the beach, later onto a train track, which I think the train track part, I don't know if you noticed this, Scott, but the whole train scene,
Stand By Me,
hanging on the trail, yeah, Stand By Me, which also stars Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, I just noticed. I thought, that was a bit like Stand By Me. They're not on the train track, but they're hanging from it.
and Corey Feldman.
And Corey Feldman's in it as well, so he is. And I was going to get onto that. There's a lot of comic relief in this film, mainly from the Frog Brothers, which are played by Corey Feldman and a guy called Jameson Newlander. Yeah, I never heard him after this film either. The grandpa, played by Barnard. That's not Bernard. Barnard Hughes, I think it is. He's quite funny. He's good. And it's, if you've never seen this film, it's not an overly violent film. It's not even a gory film. It's creepy. It's got a lot of atmosphere in it. It's got a lot of creepiness in it. But I think it's a good horror film to get into if you're just getting into horror films, especially if you don't like blood or gore and stuff like that. I love blood and gore anyway, but yeah, this is a good film to start with, I think. Yeah, it's I really like it. It's got, like most films, it has pros and cons. My main con with it is the relationship between Michael and Star. It's kind of an interracial relationship. Not that that has anything to do with it, She's black, he's white, but she's just, I find her just a little bit annoying. I don't know why. She just doesn't do anything. She's just kind of pointless for me. And I just don't think the whole thing worked very well. Unusual for kind of vampire film. There's not really much sexiness or that in it. There's usually, vampire films are usually sexy and cleavage hugging everywhere. There's nothing for sex or anything in this film. There's not, like I say, it's not even particularly violent. It's just a really good story. It's a really good characters in it, especially Michael and David, when they're going head to head. I love the scene though where they first go down to the lair and they make him eat the noodles. It's noodles, Michael. He thinks he's eating the worms.
That's the one part I don't understand about it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots.
So
no, that was actually rice.
What are those maggots and noodles?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or...
I don't know. I think they're fucking with his head.
So the vampires could do that as well?
Yeah.
They'll only use it once in the film?
Yeah. But it's quite funny. It's got a lot of humour in it. I like there's a guy in it called Edward Herman. He plays Max, the guy that owns a video store, and Michael's mum's kind of new date kind of person who she invites around to the house. Now this Edward Herman, he died about 4 days ago. He died at 71 of a brain cancer, I think it was, on the 31st of December. Shame. I've seen him on loads of things before. I can't really think what else. But he's really good in this film. He's the guy that the Frog Brothers, who I should have mentioned. The Frog Brothers own a comic book shop that also claim to be vampire hunters, and Max, the guy that owns the video shop, he's their main suspect as the head vampire. You kill the head vampire, that all half vampires return back to normal. So after Michael's night out on the bikes down the boardwalk and all the rest of it into this underground lair, he returns home wearing sunglasses the rest of the film, day and night. And he starts acting really weird. He wants to sleep during the day. He's very unsociable. He hates his family, which is, I think it's just teenagers, isn't it? He starts acting really strangely, and his brother starts catching on to him. His brother must be 13, 14, who's played by Corey Haim. He's the dead one. He's the one that hanged himself a little while ago. Did he hang himself or was it a drug overdose? I heard it was he hanged himself. Either way,
He's not alive.
Sorry, he's not alive. No, he's not. Nah, he's quite funny. He's a good source of the comic relief in it. My favourite line being when he figures out that Michael's vampire goes, "Oh my god," he said, "My own brother, goddamn shit sucking vampire. Wait until Mum hears about this." It's like, it's like his mum gonna do.
Oh.
You're grounded for being a vampire.
Oh, Mum can't find out, come on.
There's a lot. I love the humour in this film. I think it makes up for a lot of it. It's one of Joel Schumacher's best films from the 80s. I think the 80s was a good time for Joel Schumacher. See, at times he's one of my favourite directors, but he's a very hit and miss director for me. Some films he's directed, such as the Batman films he's done, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, they're catastrophic. They're really, really bad films, especially Batman and Robin. But he's made some really cracker films. He's made excellent films. He's done A Time to Kill and everything. Watch Time to Kill. It's an amazing film.
Kiefer Sutherland's in that.
Kiefer Sutherland's in it he's a bad motherfucker in that one. He's racist as hell in it.
Phone Booth, directed by Joel Schumacher. Oh,
yeah,
cool. Kiefer Sutherland's in that.
I think he's in about 10 films with Joel Schumacher. He's in Flatliners, Phone Booth. So he must really like Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, the effects are quite good. You don't really see them as vampires until the last 20-30 minutes of the film, because most of the attacks you see in the film are done off screen through a point of view. And that's what I mean when it comes to like the violence in this film. It's like most of it's done off screen, and I think it works really well. It builds up the tension in that of it. The little city, the Santa Carla, I don't think it's a real place. I think it was made up. I think it was made up just for the film, and it's a really nice looking place, really summery. It looks amazing at night. I love the nighttime scenes. Obviously, it's a vampire film, but it doesn't always have this. The way films nowadays are either blue or green. That annoys me. Well, this was in the 80s. Oh, and the vampires are, they're vampires. They're mean. They're bikers. They're vampires. They're not Twilight. They're not this, lovey-dovey, glittery. They're mean vampires, the way they should be. They're not exactly as terrifying as Count Orlok from Nosferatu, but I mean, that wasn't that guy. That wasn't even makeup. That guy is totally terrifying. But they're good. They're not good people. They're quite nasty people. Yeah, the makeup on that's really good. And it's, like I said, it's not really over the top. I think it might have been like an inspiration for like some Buffy the Vampire Slayer or not. But I think nowadays, it would be like a PG or a... Oh, do you know, I forgot to show the case that. I've had it around as well.
You've hit the 14-minute 22 mark.
Am I really? This is the film I'm watching today. I should have actually opened with that.
Yeah,
For Oz Boys. Yeah, it's a really good film. I really enjoy it. The only weak point is the so-called love story. It's not even that violent or that. There's some blood in that towards the end where the sinks and that burst up with blood and stuff. But it's a really fun film. I really, really enjoy it. I think you're hard to push to find somebody that doesn't like it. I mean, even for people that don't like horror films, it's not overly horrific. It's just a fun film. It's got a lot of good characters in it. Even the comic relief fits well with it. One thing that annoys me a lot about horror films, especially nowadays, is this comedy horror or even comic relief in films. It just seems really mismatched. It doesn't fit well with the horror of the film. This does. I think the humour in this is really good, especially by the grandpa and the Frog Brothers. The Frog Brothers being the hunters. You get a lot of good laughs with them. Yeah, I like a lot of scenes in it, especially where Michael's flying past the window. You know, he can't control. He starts floating, and he floats out the window. And his brother's covered in later on. Brother's covered in garlic later on. And he starts banging on the window while the brother's terrified, phoning his mum while she's on a date. Help! Help! And she gets terrified and runs home. By the time she comes back, he's in the window and made up with his brother. He's like, yeah, I just read a scary comic. It's a really good film. If you've not seen it, it's very unlikely you haven't if you were born any time between the 70s and 90s. It's a cult classic. I wouldn't even, actually, in a way it's a cult classic. It's a very well known film. Check it out. That's my recommendation. I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. Right. Hopefully
16.5 minutes.
Really, hopefully the next review either won't be so long or it won't take so long to get here. Hopefully, I've just been feeling like shit. I've barely recovering. I've got a lens out here. You know, I'm trying to get better. I can't smell anything, which is probably a good thing. I probably smell like shit right now.
Your advertised website. So soon.
Yeah, I don't own Lemsip. I don't own The Lost Boys. I don't own any copyrights.
You just bought it like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's his own. Oh, but
No, you said you don't own Lost Boys. You
I don't
just
own.
purchased one.
I should actually say that when I'm going on about the film. I don't own this film. I'm not related to anybody that's made this film. I own no copyrights. I'm just my review. Don't sue me.
You're just
Over and out.
You're a lowly customer.
Yeah, I'm lonely. Yes. Bye. Until the next time.